speak to Dennis Redmond now, Professor of International Media at the University of Perugia and a former Mediterranean Bureau Chief for Associated Press. Dennis, great to have you with us.
Good evening.
Very low expectations ahead of this summit, wasn't there? But we had a couple of positive things come out of it. They've said that they'll cooperate on some talks. They've said that they'll return their diplomats to each other's capitals. I mean, overall, do you think there are reasons now to be a little bit more hopeful about US-Russia relations?
I think if you think about what the state of the world was before this meeting and what it was now after the talks of 3 hours today or nearly 4 hours, we feel a little bit safer. We feel safer because, A, diplomatic relations are going to be restored at the ambassadorial level. There is going to be some strategic stability, meaning there will be continued talks on all sorts of nuclear matters with regular meetings with a committee, and there will be some action perhaps with cybersecurity, perhaps because Biden outlines 16 areas where apparently the Russians or whoever intrudes in the United States will face devastating consequences or countermeasures if something happens. So we know that the United States will not stand by. There have been some areas, another 3 areas. Where,
apologies for interrupting. I was going to say the US, Biden made it very clear that there were some red lines. You mentioned the 16 cyber attack critical infrastructure institutions, also on the issue of interference in US democracy. Joe Biden made it clear that the US would not tolerate that. But what Biden wants to see, in his words, is a stable, predictable relationship with Russia. Do you think he's ever going to get that?
I mean, Russia feels encircled. It's not the big power that it used to be. It now has 11th in the GNP. Just to compare, Italy has a larger GNP than Russia. It's affected by COVID-19 beyond what we know officially. It's a country that relies only on oil and energy exports and its strong defense arm, essentially. So there is a situation where Russia needs to be on the world stage. And there are some things that Russia can offer. It's quite interesting, the symbolism of the place where the summit was held. If you saw, there was a world globe there with a statue, with a US flag and a Russian flag. And so there are areas where they can cooperate. And these were mentioned, another 3 areas, the Arctic, perhaps, Afghanistan, and Syria. Those are 3 areas where there can be some symbolic movement and perhaps there can be some motion. As we heard before, it's a possibility that there may be, that events will precipitate the United States and Russia into an event which will be difficult to stop. But what is interesting, and I think we have to look at, is the fact that there was the US Chief of Staff present, and so was General Gerasimov of the Russian Chief of Staff, and they were present at the meetings along with some other people who meant business in the room, which no one else witnessed, and which we know was used for substantial talks with the aid.
Dennis, great to get your analysis there. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Dennis Redmond there.